Hi everybody, welcome to the Lifeboat. I'm your captain, Tommy Scoville. People, I want to get into some nuts and bolts. This is something that we've touched on before, and we're going to touch on it again. I probably never say the same thing the same way twice, but there are a lot of people that are joining the boat, and there are people that probably don't go back and watch every single video I've done. Not mad at them, but there is some stuff that's really important. I had 3 different individuals in the last 24 hours talk to me about how the time of sobriety that they have is not impressive. A very close friend of mine, a guy I consider a brother, is just celebrated 24 hours. And, he said, it's not much of an accomplishment. Man, how is that not much of an accomplishment? If people are thinking this, then I'm doing a bad job. So I'm going to go back and revisit some stuff that, and I'd like to go over a couple of questions that have been asked too. But people, the addictive process is a fight. It's a fight between the logical part of your brain that thinks, right? And then the other part is a part of your brain that does absolutely no thinking. All that does is reward you for things that normally it considers absolutely valuable for survival. So it will reward you for things like eating, sleeping, procreation, things that are vital to our lives on this planet. Unfortunately, with us, we as addicts, we trigger a mechanism in the brain so that the part of our brain that rewards us for normal things starts to reward us for things that are abnormal. It starts to reward us for behavior that's literally killing us. And in doing so, it becomes a very difficult thing for us to get through 24 hours without our drug of choice. And you've got these 2 halves of the brain completely going at it. You've got a part of your brain that says, he's giving me that chemical that I wanted. Here are some feel-good chemicals. Here's a little dopamine, right? Kicks that down the line. And the other half of your brain is saying, this is killing me, right? This is so illogical. But when that first sip touches your lips, or that first, even as you pull the bag out and start to take the drugs out, you get that rush of chemical. And it literally tells you that you're doing great. So what we have to do is, on a day-to-day basis, we have to have the part of our brain that is logical overrule a part of our brain that does not think. That's a battle, and it's a constant battle. There have been some comments made from a gentleman, we all know what's going on with Scott, but he says, that there's a certain time of the day that it just becomes impossible. They have done studies where if you go to the parole board at 8 o'clock in the morning, or if you go to the parole board at 4 in the afternoon, your odds of getting parole are wildly different, because at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're done being happy about making decisions. Our brain is no different when it comes to fighting off the part of the brain that wants to tell us to use, right? In the morning, we're raring to go. We get up, we're feeling great. The longer that we go during the day, the more difficult it is for the logic center of the brain to keep fighting the good fight. So there's things that we put into place as part of our recovery plan to make sure that we can overcome those times of day, right? One of the things that I hammer home is, idle time is awful. Idle time at 10 o'clock in the morning is probably not nearly as awful as idle time at 5 in the evening, which is not as bad as idle time at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. We've also gone over triggers, and the big triggers that we get, that everyone gets. Everyone has triggers that are unique to them. But if you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, or you're tired, right? It's an acronym, HALT. If any of those things are happening, then you're more susceptible to the part of your brain that is not thinking, demanding that drug, and overruling the thinking part of your brain. So when are we hungry, angry, lonely, tired? We need to evaluate that for each one of us to figure out what times of the day we're most susceptible. But I'll tell you right now, the closer you get to bedtime, the more trouble you're in, right? You ate a long time ago, so there's probably a little bit of hunger going on, and you're tired for sure, you're about to go to sleep. If you can identify these times and realize that, of course, you're feeling the desire worse at these times of day, it's just plain logic. That the longer you go during the day, you're fighting all day long. People, don't ever tell me that 24 hours is not impressive. The 24 hours that you just went through are far more impressive than the last year that I have, because I have built an entire plan, an entire program that is in place to ensure that I don't go back to doing the things that I did. Does this make sense to people? Please tell me it does. One of the things that has come up, I've had 4 different people now ask me about Passages Malibu. I will be honest with you. I don't know the plan that they teach. I do know that in their commercials, they say that, I used to be an addict and I'm not anymore. It's great marketing, right? I mean, who doesn't want to be cured of their addiction? It sounds good. It sounds good. And if I have an insurance company that's going to pay for absolutely everything, I'd like to go to a place that's going to cure me versus a place that's going to tell me I'm a drug addict for the rest of my life. Now, do I think you could be cured of addiction? Here's the deal. And I was talking with a counselor about this today. Here's the deal. If cured means that you're not using, and here's the cure. There's a series of things that we put into place, like I was just talking about. And if I follow those things that I've put into place that I don't want to use, right? I'm able to get through the day without ever using that chemical. Does that mean I'm cured? Well, you're cured for as long as you're doing those things, right? So this may sound like semantics, but semantics matter, right? Words mean things. So I don't think it's a problem. If you want to consider yourself cured, as long as I'm doing X, Y, and Z, as long as I'm following the 8 steps or the 12 steps or the 16 steps or whatever you have in place, as long as I'm following those things, I'm not using, I'm cured. If you want to think of it that way, great. If that helps you, fantastic, go with it. Here's where we have a problem. If you think that you're cured means, well, I can go back and have a few beers, or I can go back and hang out with people who do dope because I'm cured, or I can maybe just decide to get high on New Year's, or I could just get high on my birthday. I just want to do opiates once a year. If that's what cured means to you, you're never going to be cured. Plain and simple. Now, someone will come in the comment section and say, I know a guy. If you go over to the local university in the town that you live in, and you round up, say, 40 guys and 40 girls who are going to college, and you put them through a questionnaire that they answer honestly, most of them are going to pass the criteria for having a substance abuse disorder. Remember college? I mean, I used to drink every day in college. Then I stopped. I got out of school, I didn't drink anymore. It wasn't an issue that I continued to do in life. However, there were friends of mine who did the same thing, and when the time came to stop, they couldn't. That's the reality. The reality is that for some people, and for, basically everybody on this boat, we aren't built the same way as the guy that just decided to go home and be cool. As I've said in the past, I will have a beer every once in a while. If I were to have a beer every day for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, I promise you I could develop a bad habit with it. Not because I don't even really enjoy the buzz, which is why it's never been a problem for me. It's not, I don't enjoy the feeling of being intoxicated. Doesn't mean I couldn't learn to, because that part of my brain that's going to give me feel-good chemicals for doing stupid things would latch onto booze, or latch onto gambling, or latch onto porn, or latch onto video games. South Korea apparently has been listing video game addiction as one of the largest problems in their country. This is 3 years running. People, you understand that you can be addicted to anything. Once you understand that a part of your brain that doesn't think, a part of your brain that regulates breathing, eye blinking, heart's beating, that's the part of your brain that is going to reward you for the bad behavior. Once you understand that, just substitute anything in there. It doesn't matter what. If you start doing something and you're doing it way too much, the part of your brain, the reptilian part, or whatever you want to call it, I hate that, but that part of your brain, right, is going to start rewarding you for whatever that behavior is, because it's already been trained to do so, right? I trained mine with opiates. I could do it with methamphetamine. I could do it with cocaine. I could do it with weed. For me, I know who I am. I took a vicious inventory of who I was and who I am, right? Old Tommy, new Tommy. I know that I could get addicted to anything, and I will if I give myself the opportunity to do so. So really what I want to hammer home today, people, don't belittle what you're doing. Words mean things. If you say to yourself, well, I made it to 24 hours, but that, I mean, not that that means much. Well, then it won't mean much. I promise you. Tell yourself it doesn't mean much. It won't. I think I even cursed when the gentleman told me that. I think I said baloney. It's huge. It's huge. You won the battle for the first 24 hours. You laid down the line, right? This is the gauntlet. I'm laying it out there. You're not going to win. You started telling the part of your brain that's been making you make bad decisions that you're not having it anymore. How is that not big? People, words mean things. We talk about it all the time. I think there's 3 or 4 videos on this already, right? Words mean things. Do not belittle where you're at. And do not think the magic bullet takes place on day 2. Don't think that the magic bullet takes place on day 4. We went over this in a video. I'm not sure if you guys remember. But with alcohol, you're looking at 7 to 10 days before your brain begins to level out. So for that first 7 days, people will say, well, I'm on day 6. I'm not feeling good yet. Well, of course you're not. The part of your brain that wants to be fed is still doing this number all day long. You have to get through to that 2-week part, right? About 2 weeks, you're really out of the woods in terms of your brain starting to level out with the chemicals in there. That's essential, right? That's essential. But in the meantime, do not pick on yourself. It's not much of an accomplishment. The hell it's not. It's huge. It's huge. We're proud of you, Joe Hannigan. We're proud of you. Joe's been in the comment section. I'm not putting him on blast. Joe made it his first 24 hours. If you see him in the comment section, people, tell him you're as proud of him as I am, please, so that Joe understands that what he's done is huge and that we're all behind him 100% and that he's going to get there. And Scott, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. But I promise you, you put the work in, my brother. When the brain starts to level out on the chemicals that are going on in there, you're going to be a much happier human being. You're going to walk down that aisle sober, and you're going to live your best life. That's what it's all about. Words mean things. They really do. If you sit and tell yourself, I'm not feeling any better because of this, I'm not feeling it. I would suggest, if you're not feeling better, to tell yourself, hey, I've done it. I've made it this far. I know it's going to get better, right? Have that be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know it's going to get better. I know I'm doing the right thing. It's not happening yet. If you continue to tell yourself that, the part of your brain that wants to get fed is going to go, yeah, we're wasting our time. What the hell are you doing here? May as well give me a beer. You want to feel better? Give me a beer. We'll feel better, right? Take a shot. We'll feel better. Snort something. We'll feel better. People, don't talk yourself out of success. Please, don't talk yourself out of success. Words mean things even if you don't say them out loud. You follow what I'm saying? Positive affirmations. People like to pick on me for them. They do. You're Stuart Smalley. Doggone it, I'm good enough and people love me. Look, man, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not losing this time. We're going to do this. Attitudes mean things, words mean things, and you have the opportunity to make this happen. People, I am a much happier man right now than I was this morning. And that required me sitting in front of the mirror for a while and telling me that this is going to happen. These are things that are going to happen. And you know what? They're not going to threaten my sobriety. I'm going to get through it. And they're not going to stop me from reaching out to people that I love. For real. I have been thinking about, I'm going to do something to honor number 5. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to do something and maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm open to suggestions because this is going to happen. It's part of the deal, but this is the first time it's happened. And I don't want to forget her. And I would like, yeah. Anyway, I am the captain of this here vessel, right? We are the lifeboat. We're all in it together. People down here, this might be the last time that it'll be blue and look like the Tommy Scoville show emblem. If not, real soon because it's being done. I looked at a copy of it. Over here are videos. People, touch this thing, become part of the boat. Watch the videos. If you watch all of them, you're going to hear me talk about a lot of the same things in very different ways, and maybe that's what you're going to need. Joe Hannigan, we're proud of you. Scott, hang in there. The rest of you, Brian, everybody, we love you. You're making us proud. For real. This boat's awesome. I am so lucky you were all here. I'm your captain. We'll see you tomorrow morning.